I've already talked to Madam.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're 20 minutes to start it. The clock is gonna go to 0 over there. See the red clock? Your stuff
Okay.
is kind of in the way. Can you see it okay?
Let me just make sure this is going through. I might have to tap through this. Do I need to turn it, just gotta turn it on.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Howard.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so it's gonna count up from 0 to 10,
Okay,
or if you go beyond.
perfect.
Is that working?
We're working.
Okay, it'll go to 0 as soon as you tell me go.
Let's go. Next time I'll tell you that. I'm Troy. I'm an aerial adventure park expert. I have a lot of stories about amusement rides and the dangers. But I have 3 questions for you to ask anytime you go on an amusement ride or to a park, or even better, if you can talk to the operator. AA has a motto. In AA, we say, I am responsible when anyone, anywhere reaches out for help. So it's the 3 questions. Are you incident trained for this ride? That's what you want to ask your operators. Because how are they going to fix you or get you off the ride if that doesn't happen? The next question is, who performs the ride pre-use check? Every amusement ride needs a pre-use check to make sure it's okay. And the other one, even though all these checks were made, they're listening, urban areas. After 4 stories, they listen on the last 2. And what industry standards do you follow? Now, industry standards are always going to be almost in the form of an acronym. That is ACCT, ASTM, PRCA, not rodeo. For zip lines, we have ANSI, ACCT, and we have ASTM. Big difference. Engineers, not so much. Lisa's story. Lisa is a South Carolina pharmacist, peak health, 55 years old. Her and her family came out to Utah to a ski resort to go ziplining. They wanted to start this wonderful vacation. The only thing they probably didn't know is in the mountains of Utah on May 20th, 2016, which is late spring, the winds can be horrendous. Now Lisa's going to a ski resort. They know wind. They follow wind during the ski season. But they didn't this day. So on this day, the industry standard literally says 30 miles per hour if you're ziplining, immediate evacuation. Just unsafe. Lisa didn't know that. Her brother didn't know that. But the guide and operators knew that. The winds were sustained at 35 miles an hour with gusts of 65. Lisa's up there with her husband and they're going first. They're on the last pass of this zip line. It's a big zip line tour. It's only a year old. It's gotta be safe. Her brother is behind her, a zip line behind her. There's 5 zip lines at this place. He's huddled in a dugout because the winds are so ferocious. The hail is pelting them. And he is not going down that zip line. But the guide's like, go down, it's fine. Well, Lisa's believed her guide. And as she goes down, that pre-use inspection was missed. The inspection before that was missed. The one that they do annually. An orange ribbon around a tree in the forest means a hazard. That tree's in a path for a hazard. As Lisa and her husband were going down to this last zip line, her mother was waiting in the restaurant because they're going to have dinner. John passes her. Never talk to her again. What Lisa didn't realize is that tree was there and it was in her path. And she hit that tree, and at the top of that pine tree, 4-inch sheared it right off. But she was on a trolley that was a dead man trolley. Meaning you pull down to go, but if you let up, which she couldn't do anything now to pull down, you stayed there. The industry standard says 15 minutes. If you're on a zip line, we need you off because blood will pool in your legs and we need to get you out. And that's if you're in okay health. This resort took 45 minutes to get her off. 45 minutes. She was in need of emergency care. She was a pharmacist. She had to know that her chest was crushed. You never forget that first autopsy. And I've done 5. Lisa died in cardiac arrest on the way to Utah Valley Hospital. 20 minutes away. Who knows what would happen if they would have followed the rescue plan, got them off, got her to that hospital. Instead, John and his family have to say why Lisa died. We've all been there. And somebody dies and it's like, what happened? Well, a friend of mine told me, you start telling your stories, you're gonna hurt the industry. He's a big player. Big player. Biggest display at the expos. You're gonna hurt the industry. I said, well, you're hurting the industry that I love. The people who went there to have fun. 150 stories. At IAAPA. IAAPA is the International Association for Amusement Parks, and it's the largest one. They have 2 million square feet in Orlando every year. If you ever want to go run rides and go for rides, pay the $100 and go for the whole week. You can go through everything's free. You might have to be a builder or an expert or something, but you might be able to get in. It's worth a try. So I'm at IAAPA and I see the second year Legal Roundtable. I'm an expert witness. I've investigated 100 accidents. I want to know what these attorneys are saying. The attorneys for Disney, Universal, Six Flags, big players, all defense attorneys. Things that caught my eye, my ear. My wife was there with me, but we're sitting there and she's looking, because she's a compliance officer in healthcare. So she knows a little bit about things that are going on. And so she's like, what did he just say? And I said, they got the statute of limitations to 2 years in Florida instead of 4, everywhere else. And then they said, plaintiff attorneys, even the young ones right out of law school, are getting backed by third parties. Because amusement park ride accidents are lucrative. In fact, hedge funds, the people who bet against things to go the other way, are betting against the insurance companies. And they were complaining about that. When it opened up, I jumped up and I said, the big problem is training. We need site-specific training. We need to look at your incidents. We need to rescue people so they know what to do when it's time, because it will be time. The ACCT, Challenge Course Industry, been around for 1995, has created a social construct that I don't know if they'll recover. This is an ish. And what they did is they told everybody that a zip line, 7 miles per hour, needs an emergency brake. The problem they didn't tell you was temperatures, or the thermodynamics of that zip line, are going to make it faster in cold temperature and slower in hot. They didn't tell you that the body mass of each rider is going to change the momentum. 3 times the momentum for the maximum rider versus and it's usually the lightweight riders, they're my grandchildren. You're 3 times more likely to be injured on a zip line if you're over 150 pounds. I have the research. If you're under 100, you're next in line because you don't have enough momentum to get you to the platform. And if the guide says, oh yeah, sure, come on, send the next one, now we got a big problem. Collisions, broken necks, it's worth. They put out a letter, And it killed me. It happened on my birthday. And I'm like, okay, God, but they're comparing automobiles with zip lines. But automobiles have emergency brakes. And the degrees of freedom on a zip line that you're spinning around versus being strapped in are nothing alike. They were talking visual acuity for saying, okay, that guy's gonna predict how fast somebody's coming in. I was furious. So I sent out a letter, because I am responsible. ASTM listened. ASTM has been around for 125 years. They're all engineers. I'm part of that. The American Society for Testing the Materials, roller coaster, go-karts, zip lines. Take a photo. There are 19 standards in the amusement ride industry and counting. We're engineers. And so when they saw my letter to the ACT, because I let everybody know, they stopped what they were doing. And then they called and said, you coming to Denver? Because it was your letter that stopped everybody from finishing their standard. ACCT is overdue 2 years after my letter. They know if they don't do what I warned them against, they're in deep punitive damages. Could I give them a warning? Operators, last thing, rescue or incident training. You gotta have them done right. Pre-ride use checks. You gotta know what your speed is on that zip line. You gotta know what kind of ball attenuation material you have in a trampoline court, and if it's full. And you wanna know what the standards are, and like I said, it's just an acronym. If they've been trained, they will know the acronym. I am responsible. It's pillow insurance for me to share my story. Because nobody plans a vacation to include a trip to the morgue. Thank you.
11:26.
Okay. Troy, you are so passionate about your topic. I love that. I wrote down the 3 questions because I think that's really important. I would like to hear some happy. Maybe there isn't any happy yet.
It kills me. I have a lot of happy.
You do have some happy?
I have some happy. I'll give you a real quick happy, but the problem is when you put happy with death.
So, at this point, we're
Yeah.
just
I
giving
get it.
feedback.
I get it.
Mhm. So yeah, maybe
It's a hard transition. So if
find
you
a
don't have
balance between the really, cause it is a lot of really
Take
sad.
yeah.
Yeah, give us some happy and a happy ending and a call to action, like how can we help? Like is there something an audience can do to help be responsible? Definitely the 3 questions and maybe make a little freebie for them to scan those 3 questions and then print out and take with them when they go on vacation or something. I would love that. I think it's a really interesting, unusual, unique topic. Never heard anybody talk about this with you. I think it's really cool. You look very nice. You sound very official. Your quiets were still a little too quiet for me. Sometimes I couldn't make out when you got really quiet what you were saying. I do like that you explained a little bit about the hedge fund thing and the insurance thing, so that, you know, people that don't understand that, oh, they bet against things going the opposite, so that makes more sense to me now. So, yeah, I think an improvement over the last time I heard it at Toastmasters. I'm glad you explained the jargon. I think that's all I have for now.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great topic because it's so unique and you're so passionate about it. I just love to see the passion you have. And you told a really powerful, compelling story about Lisa and what happened to her. You also talked about your letter, which you sent in, but I feel like that's an unresolved story and there's no happy ending still at this point. And if there is no happy ending for something like this, you need to paint a picture for us of what a happy ending would look like so that we can get on board and join you in your crusade.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you've got happy stories or not,
Yeah.
we need that happy so that we want to be a part of it. Because at this point, I'm just like, oh man, I don't even know, right? And
It's a lot.
and my initial reaction, which sounds stupid, but my initial reaction is to say, well, it's been fine my whole life, I'm not gonna worry about it because this is too much to think about. And so I don't want your audience to experience that like I did today. So keep that in mind. The one last thing that I would just point out is you've got your slides, you have your slides. You kept looking at the slides as if they were telling you something. And when you point to the slide, that made sense. But when you kept looking over at it, that's a bad habit. And I would challenge you to try this speech without the slides at all to get yourself out of that habit. Because if you can break that habit, then these slides can be a powerful backup to what you're trying to say. But if you continue in that habit, they're just a distraction.
So you started off really powerful with the story. I mean, it engaged us, it connected us. Unfortunately, the jargon of the industry that you understand, us as audience members, I don't understand any of the ACPC, QC, VCs. It means zero to me. I know it's important for you and your business, but as telling us stuff that we need to take action on or be aware of, I
just
couldn't
letters.
connect to it. I didn't understand it at all. And as far as people's motivation, fear is actually the lowest one that will keep going the longest. So fear is great to make us do something right then, but fear will not keep going. We will, once we are no longer fear, no longer in that instance, it doesn't matter to us. So we need something other than fear to want to do and make a difference, which leads me to, I don't know what I can do about this. And which means I am helpless, which means I need to shut off what you're saying because I can't do anything about it. So if there's something that I can do, and you could tell me, Bobby, audience members, if you do this, if you write to the congressman, if you something like that, then I'm engaged. But if I can't do anything, then I'm just scared and freaked out and don't want to hear anything you have to say. But it was powerful. It was powerful. It grabbed us. The way you started was insanely powerful. It grabbed us. Now, if you could have given us another story on the other side where you kicked ass in the whole whatever and you did something that made a change and people started following it, that's what I want to hear.
I find this topic fascinating. It's different from pretty much everything else we've heard that have some more upbeat stuff to create balance. And that makes it tough for you. I would like you to see, when you introduce yourself, to do it with a smile. Have that, you talked about that happiness. Let us see, even if it's just a glimpse, let us see a little bit of that. Bobby's right, some of the technical stuff maybe needs to go out. But I'm thinking about call to action, and I've taken one because of you. Before I met you, because Kelly gave me some of your content, she was fascinated by me, and I have gone ziplining in Mexico. And now I know that that is a foolish, reckless thing to do, and I will never do it again. And I think if you let people know, just make that really clear. Say, here in the United States, there is legal responsibility. But if you go on a cruise, if you go to Puerto Vallarta, it's just really difficult with a foreign country. They don't have the standards and practices that we do. So even if you're a huge adventure enthusiast, I really strongly recommend you not do that. If not for yourself, then for your parents, your children, your legacy, because lives matter. So you can make a change with the people that are watching.
That will change if nobody rides if nobody
none of
does
us
it.
are riding them.
If nobody does it, then
Yeah.
they'll have to make a change.
So, and say, the industry is very slow to change, and I can't do anything about that right now, but I can affect you, and you can affect people. So that's where I would go, because that's real change. I mean, we go on a lot of cruises, at least one a year.
Yeah.
So I probably would, again, I haven't gone ziplining in a while, and now I'm like,
Go to the beach.
yeah, maybe
No more ziplining.
I'll do something else. So that's,
So here's your call to action real quick. That waiver will not overcome gross negligence. And 9 out of 10 people think it does.
Oh, that's good to know,
And if I'm dead, it wouldn't matter.
right?
And I can easily put your stuff in there, cause ASTM has been kept out of Utah because of Laguna. And we got ASTM trampoline park in here in 2019, working the Senator and
Wow.
Senator Thurston.
Love it.